I just love all these video packages. I feel like I could just watch them all day. Just so intense. So much money on the line. Just the level of competition, it's the highest it's going to be. Again, the top 32 players from around the world, 9 different regions represented, 3 days of action. And it's all culminating in finding out who's going to be our champion, who's going to be walking away with $450,000 of the overall $1 million prize plus.
I should have entered the European qualifiers, dude. I should have entered the European qualifiers.
I want to see you there next time, that's for sure.
I'll give it a go.
Of course, you got Cameron Davis and Excoundrel over here joining me. I'm Axel Toss. What a delightful day it's been.
Yeah.
Already 2 groups of action we've seen unfold. The South Korean players effectively dominating those first 2 groups, getting the #1 seed going into tomorrow's semifinal matches. Steelo, our South Korean player in this group, I think is around. I think he got 5th. I want to say.
So not bad.
Lucky, our female player, got 4th. So still, we have 2 more games to come here. So what are y'all's initial expectations here after seeing what we saw in match 1 going into these next 2?
I mean, I expect that we're going to see a similar sort of thing just because of the strength that we saw of Glacial Knights is what we expected coming into this. Expect to see probably more into this group because a lot of these players seem just very comfortable leaning into it. I hope that players like Vincent will flex out of it because it wasn't super successful for him. Maybe see a little more Warrior Beast, especially for the players who got a high placement. They can play something a little more that's like safe in the early game. But
I think I reflect what Cammy said. I think we have a lot of players in this lobby, Vincent and Seiko especially, that will intentionally lean into Glacier Knights if they get the opportunity. I think that I would like to see maybe the reflected meta from our first 2 quarterfinals. I would love to see a faster paced game to punish these mage players, because this is the first game that we saw mages do well in, like respectively well, you know, in terms of the lobby. So if you want to punish those mage players, you've got to be more aggressive in the early game. I would like to see Vincent, unless he gets offered Glacier Knights, which is sometimes the game's just like, here, have them, like Psycho had in the previous game. I would like to see Vincent maybe not try and force that. It is something that he's kind of known for, forcing that composition. But I think, you know, he's in a situation now where just play what the game gives you. Try and place well based off that, and don't try and force anything. And also, I love that. I mean, Lucky placed 4th. Maybe go for that modified open fort again if you want to. It worked pretty well.
Yeah, she played well. You know, you think if Psycho doesn't go the same comp, like maybe it even works out even better for her. Yeah. It's already tough if you're having a battle with whoever's winning in the lobby for the same unit composition.
The funny thing about the Psycho composition is you kind of saw exactly what you mentioned. There is the thing about Glacier Knights is that once you get the 3 stars, you're in a good position.
Yeah.
But the power curve is like almost exponential based on itemization. Like you just saw the power level of that Hell Knight once it got the Axe of Fury, poof, through the roof. The more items you stack on the Lightblade Knight, the more powerful that unit becomes. That's the beauty of this. Why it's my favorite composition in the game, because you can play it and have no items and generally place pretty well if you get your 3 stars. But if you get your items, you suddenly like blow through most of the compositions in the game. It just has that infinite power scaling.
And it's that stability, which is why it's such an, I guess, a default, like when in doubt, lean into Knights. We've been seeing that in Auto Chess from the very beginning. Even in like the original Dota mod, it was always, when in doubt, lean into Knights. They are the most consistent, the most smooth power curve as far as like early game to late game.
All right, guys, I'm excited to see what happens here. I'm going to throw it to you, but first we're going to hear from Vincent, who's going to talk about his mentality coming into the tournament.
So I think it's very important to keep an open mind. And in the same sense, you also have to play the units that you're dealt. Because at the end of the day, you can hope that you can get a particular comp or force things or open fort. But at the end of the day, you have to play what you're given and try your best with it. And it's not by round 4 that the game is over. It's by whatever round, 30, 24, that you can still make decisions.
I mean, let's hope he listens to his own words.
Yeah, I think Vincent is a very skilled player. He's someone that I've seen play stream a lot. He's been very high queen rank on the North American server for quite some time. And I know that he's very capable of being adaptive and sort of running with everything. Durf, by the way, and I'm just slightly mental booming about this.
Yeah.
Durf locked a Defector round 1.
I mean, it's a defector. On the other hand, it is a 2-star on round 2, so... No?
I'm shaking my head vigorously.
No?
I would never lock a defector. It's like defector 1 does the same job as defector 2.
I mean, sure, but on the other hand, I don't think it's that bad. It's not as good as I think it's probably the worst thing to lock for round 2, but
I think I would rather take my chances on re-rolling into round 2, whatever the game gives me, than getting a defector 2. The only thing defector 2 would be good for is if he somehow now transitions this into Glacier Knights.
maybe transitioning to no. Okay, just sticking to the Cave Clan with the 2-star. I don't know. Any 2-star, the attack damage in the early game is not going to be nothing. Going even a defector.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is very fair. That is very fair, but I still would never lock a defector round 1.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Durf sold it at like round 5 to kind of throw in more
it's cost
warriors.
Neutral, right? It's cost neutral,
Yeah,
so you're
exactly.
gonna get the cost back. So it's not a bad unit to have at 2-star, but
Looks like Steelo is going to be taking the win on this opening round though against Durf.
we'll see here.
Yeah, going to be winning both sides actually, winning on Durf's board and defending against the attack from Philip. Look at the items. Is that 2 Frantic Masks on Lucky already?
Oh my word, Lucky.
She is Lucky every single like first 3 rounds.
4 clubs on the previous game.
Yep.
This time she actually got the Frantic Masks. So you actually said, literally, I will quote you verbatim.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 clubs is okay, but if she got 2 Frantic Masks, that's when I'd be saying she's lucky.
Yeah.
She's actually
did it.
got the 2 Frantic Masks this game.
My God, she did it.
Oh my word.
Don't know how she did it.
And she's modified open
Yeah.
forting again.
It's kind of a weird collection of units on the sideboard, but it's only round 5, so it looks like she's just opening herself up to a number of different options.
The problem with double Frantic Mask is it pigeonholes you into some compositions.
This is true.
So you're either like thinking Glacier Knights, you're thinking maybe a warrior.
Hunters. You go Hunters.
Hunters, yeah, that's why Hunters, a Berserker-based warrior composition.
Yeah.
Or even if you really wanted to Assassins, but you don't generally tend to open fort into Assassins because it can be quite difficult to get it rolling. But yeah, Hunters or Glacier Knights would be her best go-to compositions from this point based on her itemization.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there are a fair number of options when you're looking at warriors, whether it's just warriors by themselves, warrior beast or warrior hunter. You can put them on the Abyssal Guard, you can put them on the Sniper, put it on the Agursis Ranger. There are a lot of options that, honestly, at certain points, silencing the unit actually makes them even better.
For sure. I think at certain points in the game, for instance, you mentioned Soulbreaker, I think, is also pretty good when you silence him in the late game. Dwarf Sniper, as you mentioned. Even some warriors, like Abyssal Guard and Swordman, can be pretty good in the late game because their abilities sometimes fall off. So there are a lot of items, and we saw in Monty's game, Doom, for instance.
Yeah.
That was a really big IQ play.
Those just punch, just the whack. I think I felt that in my chest, like a hit of a bass, like a what is that, dubstep drop. When those happen,
the Doom 3 slaps.
Yeah, exactly. Drop the bass, like Skrillex up in here.
Have a look at the rest of the items right now. Some spread of just generic itemization. Durf is the only one that really came out. He came off pretty bad because he's the only, he just picked up 1 Magic Crystal. But if I was to choose 1 item in the game, if I had to choose just 1 item to be dropped, it would be Magic Crystal every time. So I wouldn't be. I'm not happy, but I'm not massively upset.
Yeah, it's better than just having like a single shield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a single null, magic resist thing. Was it Mage Cloak? Magic Cloak, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I would much rather have that 1 Magic Crystal as my only item because it's adaptable and it can be used in many compositions.
So Durf right now, looking at his board, he's still keeping the 2-star Defector and has the Frost Knight to kind of open that attack speed even more, but still a warrior frontline for the damage. Is this still a pretty open composition, or is Durf leaning heavily towards one particular comp?
It's quite open right now. To be honest, there isn't any clear direction for Durf. Defector doesn't really lean you into anything other than Glacier Knights. There is a Glacier Warrior comp that you can run, but it's not particularly good. He could maybe run Defector in a God-based build, but you'd usually rather have Desperate Doctor. So there is a couple of things that he can do here, but I think he's just leaving it open. Try and build an economy and work from there.
Yeah, I mean, he did lose that round, but it's still in the early game. It's still only round 7. 76 HP, though, seems a little steep for even this early on. And Durf coming in off of a best of 1 from his region. On one hand, that's like a really good ratio of 100% to qualify. On the other hand, with the level of RNG that is in this game, it kind of makes Durf a little bit of a wild card. No one really knows how good of a player he could be off of qualifying off such a small little margin.
And most players will tell you that the competitive circuit and high-level competitive lobbies are much different rather to the ladder grind. They'll tell you just how different it can be, and I think we've noticed this from this game. If you have less competitive experience, sometimes it can be a bit of a drawback for yourself when you're coming into these very competitive lobbies. And this is the most competitive lobby. You know, this is the World Championship. This is the most competitive lobby that you're likely ever going to be a part of, unless you advance till to tomorrow and then to the finals. You know, you're at a very high level of competition right now.
So Lucky is sticking with that loss streak. She's sitting on 5 right now. The only one who's really loss streaking, at least intentionally, that's just because she's open forting, and that open fort may have, I guess, denied anyone else from even the option of loss streaking.
Yeah, she's in a slightly different scenario this time around, as she has not found the Hell Knight and the Lightblade Knight, for instance. So she's not exactly going to come out of this with a already solid Glacier Knight comp. I kind of want to have a look at the rest of the lobby right now. There's again, Angel and Devil. He's got the Glacier Knight very early on here. He's actually running what I like to think of as almost the perfect early game Glacier Knight. What you generally tend to have is if you had a 2-star Hell Knight and a 2-star Lightblade Knight and you stick it with the 4 Glacier at level 6, that is like the perfect early game Glacier Knight, because it's very difficult to beat and you have your 2 core units doing all the damage. But he's replaced Lightblade Knight with the 2-star Skybreaker, and it's still working out really well for him right now.
Hasn't been able to find any Lightblade Knights, though. We've seen a couple of different players struggle because they are... It's almost like a dangling a carrot in front of someone. You're given a good early game 2-star Hell Knight, a good early game collection of 1- and 2-star Glacial units, but then the final unit, the Lightblade Knight that you need to kind of finish that up, just avoids you. And we haven't talked about this concept too much in this game, but there's a whole sunk cost fallacy. Even in like the mid game, it's not too late to transition out, but they may get like tunnel vision onto something because they feel that it's such a strong position, and I understand why.
Yeah, it's actually quite difficult to transition once you already feel like you've committed.
Yeah.
It's a really awkward situation to be in, because you think, well, I have to start from scratch, and look how much I've spent on this already, right? It's really rough to actually make that transition move. I would be... Even I struggle with that, you know? Like, it's not something that is unique to these players. It is really difficult to find a good point to transition from, because the key skill for transitioning, it's assessing relative strength. So it's assessing how strong you are compared to the lobby. And if you then have to reset completely, how strong are you compared to the lobby? It's so difficult to tell.
Well, it's also just looking at the percentages, looking at the chance. Like, sure, I may not be finding the Lightblade, in this hypothetical scenario, may not be finding the Lightblade Knight yet, but I'm going to have to roll for whatever I transition to anyway, so might as well. And especially if you're looking at the rest of the board, or the rest of the lobby, and seeing that no one's contesting you anyway, it's just kind of a little bit of a teeth clencher, the fact that you're not being given the unit that you want, but percentage-wise, like, you're playing it as best as you can if you commit and stick to it.
Durf going for the 4 Glacier Soulbreaker, which actually, given he's got a lot of 2-stars on the board, is working out. He's actually almost at a 3-star Defector, by the way.
Yeah, boy. Dude, he's committing to that unit.
He's committing to the unit. I support that commitment.
Support the commitment, just maybe change the direction, change the goal of that commitment, is what you're saying.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Potentially, we'll see.
It is another Glacier Knight Force coming out from Lucky here. Essentially has got to level 5 and is just looking to again, hyper roll it. We talk about this quite a lot. It's essentially the best level in the game to turn around and roll for 1 and 2 costs, because you have a really high chance of doing it and you can do it over multiple rounds. So that's what she's doing following her open fort. She's now going to look to hyper roll for Hell Knights and Lightblade Knights.
Yeah. Good amount of gold right now. Going to be able to do the roll down next round. Not a bad collection of units on the board, finally putting units out there, but it's still not the best. And it looks like GG Aaron is going to be getting the best of her, taking a little bit more damage. Probably going to be dropping once again below Vincent. Lucky in 8th, Vincent in 7th, I think is something that we familiar sight.
Vincent's in a rough spot this game. I don't think he really knows what he wants to commit to in terms of a build right now.
I don't know what he wants to commit to.
I think he wants to go for a Dragon Mage composition, but he really hasn't found many of the core units that are going to make that work. He's now switched out and managed to find Dragon and Mages on the board, but this is a really rough scenario for Vincent to be in. He's not got a lot of HP to work with, and he really hasn't got that many good level 2 units for his Dragon Mage comp.
It's a hard choice to make, but looking at the units that he had, we didn't see the shop, but looking at the units on the board and the sideboard, I actually do agree with this decision. Sticking at 50 gold right now, hopefully can at least remove a couple of units from the side of Archdevil, mitigates the damage a little bit, and then get that, like, the same roll down that we're going to see from Lucky, get that roll down happening on Vincent to at least get 1 or 2 more 2-stars, hopefully in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, I do think that this is essentially what Vincent needs to run for. He needs to just say, okay, right, let's get past the Wolf round. Let's work our way to level 7. We have to then probably roll it at level 7 and build back up to level 8.
And it's not a bad sort of idea to like lean into this synergy, just because no one else is going for Dragon Mage. We only see one more Mage in the lobby right now, and I don't think a single one of those mages is a dragon right now. So it is a number of units open to roll down to. It's just being able to find them.
Psycho's playing a essentially what looks like it's going to be a traditional 6 mage comp with just a front line of a God of War.
Steelo.
He may indeed, Steelo. He may indeed decide to go for dragons, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta wait till you get the dragon or not. It's all about the Dragon Knight at that point, and it's not an easy transition because 2 of the dragons are already mages. So, bam. Looks like the damage coming out of the total damage actually wasn't that much because it's only a 1-star, but the damage coming out from the 2-star Shadow Devil is going to be making up for that.
It's a very
lack.
powerful unit in a mage comp, very powerful unit. And actually this is looking more like a traditional mage build that we used to maybe see 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Coming out from Steelo. This is really cool. I like where he's going. He's almost got a 3-star God of War at the Wolf round. Steelo, please give me some of your luck, my friend. And actually, this is our South Korean player. And if I remember, there was one player that Cammy had his eyes on. It was indeed Steelo.
That was just a bit. Like, I wasn't actually thinking that being from Korea means that he has an advantage, but you know what? Actually, that being said, if he does win, then I'm taking it.
He placed pretty well in the previous round, right?
He got 5th, which is not, or 5th, I think, which is not the worst.
No, but if you have a good performance here, it sets you up for a solid chance at getting out of the group.
Oh, yeah. 5th on the first round is nothing that should really upset you. You just want to make sure you follow it up with an even better round the next time around. And looking at this comp and looking at the fact that he's still at 100 HP, tied with Archdevil in that manner on the Wolf round, is setting up for a good position.
Everyone seems to have fared okay. This is probably one of the scariest neutral rounds in the game, just because it's one of the ones where if you aren't level 7 or you don't have a good comp, it can be quite difficult to get through.
Yeah.
But
it's a little rough.
Everybody got through it, and Vincent has rolled down to 30 gold. Lucky's still hovering around 50, so she feels pretty confident that her 27 HP will do her for the time being.
That's a little low. I don't agree with that confidence, but we'll see what happens.
There's no Beast Warriors, right? So she's not going to take like 20 damage in one turn, hopefully. But she doesn't have a particularly strong Glacier Knight comp. She's only got a level 1 Lightblade and a level 1 Hell Knight. That's not good.
Like, her Glacial units are nice and leveled up, but if you don't have the Hell Knight or the Lightblade Knight to follow up on it, it's not that great. So this is actually looking to be a lot worse of a round than the previous one, even though the strategy is virtually the same. And that just goes to show it's exactly what Vincent said in the beginning of this round. You just got to go with what you're given, and Lucky may not have been given enough Glacial Knights to effectively lean into it.
Yeah, she's at level 6 now, so her chances of finding her 2 costs are going to be the same for the next 2 levels, even 3 levels. So there is really no point trying to like hyper roll it. You're probably better off looking to just go to level 7 and put as many units on the board as physically possible.
But if you have nothing that's really going to... Okay.
There we go.
Using the egg, has a second egg for backup just to get that level 2 Nightblade Knight. You said it, you wouldn't use it in the early game. But yeah, it's a desperate situation.
You're at 18% HP. This is an okay time to commit to using the using the egg. And then she does indeed go to level 7. She puts on for the 4 Knight bonus as well. So she's got the Glacier 4 Knights now. This is actually a stronger, or at least the strongest she's going to get until level 8 or a level 2 Lightblade Knight.
That was a defector with both Frantic Masks that she was able to get.
I like that. I actually quite like that.
I don't mind it. I don't think it's bad.
I would sell that eventually to put them on my light blade.
Yes. I think that's the goal. You put it on the unit that is cost neutral once you sell. It's going to be a little difficult to replace with another defector, and I think for the most...
Berserker.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think for the most part, people prefer defector over Berserker, I thought.
If you're facing a lot of mages, yes. There are 2 mages in this lobby, so maybe it'd be worth it, but I think the direct power upgrade would be a Berserker.
Okay.
And then if you want to replace that Berserker with another defector, once you get that defector at 2, then that's cool. But
yeah.
If I get a 2-star light blade and I have a Berserker sitting, I would just throw my... I mean, I'd even replace a 2-star defector with a 1-star defector if it meant that I could give a 2-star light blade 2 frantic masks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
you keep it, yeah. You definitely want to sell the thing the minute you have any replacement, 1-star or 2-star. And that's a level 3 Lightblade Knight. Speaking of Glacial Knights on the side of Archdevil.
What is it with our Glacial Knight players in this lobby? They are absolutely crushing the RNG in the rolls.
I mean, Lucky's not, but I mean, Archdevil is.
Yeah, but at least every game we've had someone that's... So Lucky got 2 3-stars on the previous game. Psycho got 2 3-stars in the previous game, and now we've got Archdevil on a 13 win streak with a 3-star light blade at this stage. This is absolutely insane.
I mean, it's all about mitigating the RNG and putting yourself in the situation to take advantage, and that is a 3-star defector on the side of Durf. It was the lock, the decision from round 1, and you can see just, what is it, the single wing flap of a butterfly across the world is going to create a tsunami. It's the same thing. The single lock now creates a 3-star defector.
Well, I look stupid because he's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, he is now. It was a little troubling at first, and I will also say I don't think it's the defector that's carrying this team comp. And if it is, it certainly won't carry it for too much longer because that thing's ability is going to drop off. But a 3-star this early is still a nice thing to have in your pocket.
He's got 5 Glacier. He could absolutely get rid of the Frost Knight and then just put in something else.
But what would you put in this? Because for a second it looked like Glacial Knights, but that's because of the Glacial. What else?
I'd put the Venomancer in. So he's got the Venomancer there. Okay. I'd put the Venomancer in because it would give me the Warlock bonus.
Okay.
Because I've already got Desperate Doctor. Frost Knight is actually a really bad unit.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yes. I mean, not as bad as Defector.
I actually think it's worse than Defector.
Really?
Frost Knight is good as a tank in Glacier Knights because he's a knight.
He's a knight, yeah.
He's good in really, really elongated fights where he can stack his ultimate, which never usually happens. Defector at least gives you utility. Frost Knight is actually just bad.
That's okay. I'll take that. I'll accept that. But I'm more questioning what Durf is going to transition into in general.
He's playing Glacier Warriors. Do you remember I mentioned that there's a Glacier Warrior build that I don't think is particularly good? Well, it works if you kind of get the 2 stars, and like with any comp, if you've just got strong units, it's gonna work out okay.
Okay, he does have the Swordman. He does have the Abyssal Guard.
He's got the Berserker as well. Like,
yeah.
I would get rid of my Frost Knight for a Venomancer though. Absolutely.
Maybe wait and forget the level 2 onto that one. Just, wanting more stars on the board, I guess.
1-star, I think a 1-star Venomancer has more, if not equal, HP to a 2-star Frost Knight.
Yeah, I know. That's why my only guess is just liking stars and wanting as many stars on the board as possible. Because you're right, a single Venomancer is better than a Glacial Knight. Looking back here on Lucky, down to 6 HP, taking more and more damage. Still unable to find even a second Light Blade Knight to use the egg. There it is.
She's got to egg it, surely. She's got to egg this.
She's got to egg it. Okay, you have to. There's no other option. I don't see the Defector anymore either, so that should be Frantic Masks on the Light Blade Knight as well.
The Berserker replaced it.
Yeah. So hopefully, Lucky, this is when Lucky needs to turn her fortunes around, but it's up against the winning player, the high-rolling Archdevil. This is not the player that she wanted to come up against. The one round that she needs to turn it into her favor, and it doesn't look like the damage is going to be enough.
Oh, actually,
it's looking close. It's looking close.
Oh, no way.
The 2-star Light Blade Knight bests the 3-star Light Blade Knight. That has got to be strictly off of the RNG Knight Shield.
That was RNG Knight Shield, but also the Desperate Doctor stun at the end was perfectly timed. It was a Desperate Doctor stun that kept the Light Blade Knight 3 locked up. The Light Blade 3 did not have a Knight Shield on it. And she also had the Frantic Mask to keep her 2-star Light Blade Knight alive. She, by all stretches of the imagination, should not have won that round. She's also choosing to keep hold of 18 gold. When I have 6 HP,
that's 0. That gold is 0.
That gold is 0 for me every single round. Like this is a supremely confident display from Lucky to not want to roll her entire economy away.
On the other hand, though, I mean, it's up against Philip right now, and I don't know how she's faring against this. It's hard to tell. The HP bars are super low on both sides. And the sniper in the back line, I think it's going to be enough. Yeah, Lucky's going to win this one yet again. But the point is that there's a large enough gap between the next person who could fall below her and herself that going down to 0 in this one round may not be worth it if she wants to climb even higher than just 7th place. But I agree, it is definitely a confidence play to just sit there with that gold in your wallet and not on the board.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I would struggle to do in her scenario, but she must be super confident in the power level of her composition to say, okay, I don't need to roll it in. But she has rolled it down now, so obviously I think maybe wanted to just get a bit of gold to roll down with, and you can see now she's going up against Lucky, and Lucky did find a 2-star Berserker off that, so that roll was worth it. That roll was definitely worth it.
And actually, the damage coming out from Lucky onto GG Irid is looking strong. So GG Irid, I think, is not going to be falling below Lucky just yet, but the player that got 2nd place last round is looking to be in a real tricky situation. 12 HP on round 23, and it's not that big of a gap, but there's a little bit of a gap between Irid and Seiko just above, who also got 1st last round. So this is a complete flip on the leaderboard, it seems.
Actually, GG Irid playing a pretty similar composition to his previous game with the 3-star Water Spirit as the front line for...
So what's the difference, and why is it not being so successful?
I just think he didn't snowball the early as hard as he did previously. I also just don't... If you're facing up against a lot of range comps, and if you have like Hunters, obviously the Spirit bonus is not as good because it only affects melee attacks. And he doesn't really have He doesn't really have a solid front line here.
Yeah, I mean, the only front line is the single Water Spirit. Oh, okay, handling Philip very, very well.
Yes.
GG Irid's going to stay alive, at least for a little bit longer. Philip, the current 3rd place player at 68 HP.
Lucky man. Oh, Lucky's out. Lucky lost. I don't know who Lucky lost to. I'll have to have a look. It was GG Irid. So Lucky actually did end up losing to GG Irid. So knocks her out. She goes out in last position. So she's going to be. It's going to be rough for her to qualify through to the next round now.
She's in a it's a possible, but she's going to need to get top
first. She's going to
2.
She's first for sure. I think almost. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, well, with the flip in the leaderboard that we're seeing right now, it may give her a little more of an opening than she would have been otherwise in previous groups, and unless we're going to have to see what the points scale out to at the end of this round. Right now, though, GG Irid looking a little better, a little bit of a troubling path to get to this position, but this 6 mage comp may have just like turned on and unlocked itself.
Yeah, I think he's in a strong position now. I'd like to have a look at Seiko and Vincent, Seiko and Vincent, just to have a look at where their comps are right now. Seiko running a Beast Warrior. So this is Beast Warrior for Seiko. He has got the Marine bonus on there to help him with the mages as well. So he's in an okay... I wouldn't say he's in a great spot, but I think he's in an okay spot at this point in time. And having a look at Vincent. Vincent's actually managed to get this Dragon Knight comp, and he's got the front line of the 2-star Doom, he's got Claw Wand. He's got a lot of items. Good spot. He just needs 1 Dragon Knight to get to a position where I think Vincent would feel really comfortable, because a 2-star Dragon Knight is pretty integral to making the Dragon Mage comp
I think this could just be a little bit of a placebo, but I think if there's one unit that has a huge noticeable power spike between 1-star and 2-star, it's going to be Dragon Knight.
And that's specifically because Dragon Knight unlocks an ability at each individual level up, and the level up at level 2 gives him... So he gets magic damage over time on a single target. I think Vincent's going to take a load of damage.
He's going to take a lot of damage here from GG Irid. Crawling himself out of 7th place right now. Vincent at 16. I still like his comp, but yeah, he's going up against a player who is a tier above him right now in terms of full team composition.
So Psycho lost to Steelo. GG Irid also lost. I think Psycho's probably got the weakest composition in the game right now. He just hasn't snowballed the Beast Warrior comp very well at all. And we mentioned about Dragon Knight. When you get to level 2, your single target magic damage over time becomes splash damage magic over time. So that's why it's really important.
Yeah.
I know level 3 gives you an upgrade where you slow unit movement and attack speed, but it's not as important for a mage comp because you don't actually get any magic damage boost. You just get some flat attack damage boost. But I mean, 3-star Dragon Knight just looks cool. So.
It also just looks really dope. Got that bling flying everywhere.
We'll see how Vincent does up against Psycho here, and whether Psycho can deal with the Tortola Elder, who did actually miss his ultimate here, kind of whiffed it. So
that's good. That's good. It's a complete whiff there. Someone knocked his mouse, I guess. I'm imagining the Tortilla Elder as an FPS player. But no, it's going to be GG Irek going down to Archdevil, trying to climb out of 7th, going up. Eventually, it's going to happen going against the top placing player.
I'd like to have a look at the overall comps, actually. If we have a look at the scoreboard, we can see exactly what we're dealing with. We've got Durfs, Glacier Warrior still holding on in there. We've got Psycho with the Beast Warrior. We've got Philip with the Beast Warrior. Kind of, but mainly playing a Hunter comp right now. 2 Mage comps left in the game, and of course, at the top, 3-star Hell Knight, 3-star Lightblade Knight, Glacier Knight for Archdevil right now. I
mean, that's Archdevil rolling with the go-to comp. If there's any comp that you're gonna learn to win a pretty good number of your games that you play, it's that one. It's that specific comp that Archdevil is rolling right now. Vincent trying to stay alive himself. The AoE coming out from his mages. Does a bit of damage, but it doesn't look to be enough. The comp from Philip just tearing through his system. And that's going to be Vincent certainly going out in 6th place again in the bottom 4.
Yeah, but you did mention the flip of the leaderboard. We will have to see how that works out for point standings in the final game, but this is going to be rough for Vincent. He will not be too happy with his position or his placements over the last 2 games. Psycho will breathe a sigh of relief, by the way, because 5th, when you've come first previously, does help you out a significant amount going into the final game. He may be able to squeeze and get to the 4th position, depending on Durf, because Durf does not have a strong composition. This composition does fall off a cliff, and as you can see, he's been losing pretty consistently over the last few rounds.
Yeah, but the 3-star Defector.
The 3-star Defector is there. He has also got the Shaman bonus going. So
it's like, yep, the 3-star is on the board. It is, in fact, existing in time and space as we are seeing it right now. But Seiko up against Philip. The damage is just, it's really good on the side of Philip. Seiko's damage is not enough. The Siren using the ultimate. This could be used just in time to give a little bit of an opening.
Wormy Boy and Berserker, they're going for it. I think this keeps this keeps Psycho alive. This keeps Psycho alive.
Just barely. The Siren ultimate coming off not a second too late.
Wow, what a clutch ending right now for Psycho and Durf, because they are both 1 round away from being knocked out.
But Psycho still lost the round. That's the thing.
So
it could be a yes.
Yeah.
The point is though, it's not that's not going to give Psycho a lot of confidence, because sure, I didn't go out this particular round. But what are the chances that I'm going to win the next round if I'm still so weak?
The jump to 4th and 5th, both of them are losing. If he can survive long enough for Durf to lose,
you go out first.
He goes out first. And with the Siren Ultimate, you mentioned it in the previous round, that bought him time. That bought him so much time. So maybe this is a good situation for Psycho. And Durf will be feeling the same thing. If Durf can get 4th, that at least gives him a fighting hope to try and place well in the final game to qualify.
I'm amused.
Looking at the items right now, a number of Frantic Masks on the side of Psycho. 3 to be exact, all 3
on Berserker. And he's got the Axe of Devil Blood, which is a massive armor reduction as well. Plus the Broken Sword, which I believe is the highest single target, the highest single flat damage item in the game, just from a single basic
as a
combinable
single component.
So he's got a very strong Berserker, which is why he's placing his Berserker so far away from the rest of his units.
Yeah, please don't touch me.
Please don't touch my Berserker.
We saw that happen to the Tortilla Elder on the first round. Didn't really work out in his favor, but there's enough of the front line to block him onto that end. Psycho just trying to stay alive. He's actually performing well this round, but it's a Glacial Knight, and no matter what happens, you have to look at the 3-star Hell Knight, the 3-star Lightblade Knight, and that's going to be working heavily for Archdevil to take this. The Hell Knight is down. The Berserker dealing all the damage. The Storm Shaman not using the ability just fast enough, and actually it's Durf that goes down in 5th place. Psycho able to stay alive with those items on the Berserker against Archdevil, no doubt.
Yeah, that was, I mean, he has been blessed by item RNG this game, Psycho, that's kept himself in the game. And that was exactly what he would be hoping for. It is a 2-point jump, I think, from 5th to 4th, so he generates more points for himself going into the final game. And this puts Seiko in a really solid spot to qualify now. He will be much happier having 4th because it is an extra 2 points over 5th.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very good climb. Clay specifically called it, I actually don't remember the word that he called it, but he pointed out that it is a different point drop between 1st and 2nd, and then 4th to 5th. But Seiko, can he stay alive any longer? He's going up against Archdevil, a 2nd round in a row, and the Berserker is out quite early, but so are the 3 stars. And so Psycho's actually going to win this round even stronger than he did previously. Archdevil loses his own fight against Philip, dropping down to 2nd place. Archdevil has not been able to scale his positioning into the late game that well.
Look, yeah, I mean, it's quite rough. I mean, he's got a good comp. Maybe the items just aren't there for him. This is one of the things that we talked about with Glacier Knight. It's good when you've got your 3 stars, but you do need the items to make it that much more powerful. Having a look over at Steelo, though, he looks in such a good spot. He has got a perfect Dragon Knight composition. The only thing that he would benefit from is by having Pirate Captain in to give himself that extra frontline and burst with the Pirate Captain, but he's got a 3-star God of War, so you can't complain that your frontline is just not good enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know who you would remove to get the Pirate Captain in. Right now, he's going up against Archdevil, who actually has a 3rd 3-star. Wait, is that a 3-star? That's a Glacial. I thought it was a Dragon Knight at the start, but actually not winning so confidently. Archdevil is going to come back and trade a little bit, just barely, like 1 HP left on the Lightblade Knight in order to do it, but Seiko did also lose his own round against Philip. Philip with the 3-star Dwarf Sniper coming in strong.
So one of the benefits of a Dwarf Sniper is it will always target the lowest HP unit. And so if you somehow get to a point where you're able to deal damage to the Berserker, or the Berserker automatically becomes the lowest value HP unit on the field, the Dwarf Sniper is just going to target him and take him down. So that was it's a really good unit. And also one of the benefits of Dwarf Sniper versus God of War is you go straight past God of War. You just ignore it. You just shoot the mages in the back line, and that is one of the really big benefits of having that on your squad. Yeah,
it's one of the most frustrating things. I've been up against it many a time, and it's made me want to tear my head off because there's almost no counterplay to it once you get to the position. Once it's a 3-star and it's just super powerful, you're basically just dead. But Archdevil coming up, giving it a nice run of things with the 3 stars, and as well as the 2-star Berserker, and I think he might actually come out on top into this one. The lifesteal from the Frantic Mass is not going to be enough, able to remove the Lightblade Knight, but the Hell Knight dealing 3 damage to Philip, dropping him down to 11th place. All three players, by the way, losing their respective battles.
It's a really tense final 3 right now. Steelo with the kind of the very, very powerful Dragon Mage composition. We expected to see much more of this at the top end of the ladders. This is the first time I've really seen a Dragon Mage comp come online fully and reach that kind of full potential. He's almost sitting at a 3-star Winter Karup Terran, a 3-star Shining Dragon. These are going to be big power boosts for him if he were to find those things. I do think somehow finding a way to slot the Pirate Captain into your composition would be okay, but again, like you said, what do you take out for it at this point? Everything is so good, and the God of War is just a really good tank versus both Hunters and also versus Glacier Knight. So I think you're in a good spot as Steelo.
What do you think about this splitting of the army, though? Just 2 different walls.
That was particularly...
That was just for the Black Dragon?
For Black Dragon King, because Black Dragon King, when he attacks a unit, deals splash damage to everybody in the area. And with mages, it's already hard enough. It's already hard enough to beat the neutral rounds, so you kind of like need to give yourself the best fighting chance in every scenario.
This, though, we saw these positions. This is not for the Dragon
This
King.
is specifically to deal with mages and also Dark Spirit. Both of these guys are specifically trying to deal with mages and Dark Spirit.
You can only choose one side. Pick wisely is basically what they're saying right now. And the mages slotted back into the standard corner. And look, God of War is only blocking half of the units. That's why they split it up. It's not just to dodge the AoE, but also to dodge the tank of God of War. But the damage is not enough from Philip's right side, but luckily it was enough of a stall that the mages are so focused on the right side that the left side could just take care of God of War easily and leave the 3-star Dwarf Sniper up and healthy to take care of the rest of the game. And Archdevil even loses his own battle against Philip in the meantime.
He does indeed. Archdevil just unable to sort of capitalize with his Glacier Knights right now. He's got a very strong Glacier Knight comp. I'd be interested to look at the items on his Hell Knight and his Lightblade Knight. Actually, it's not bad. You would like a Frantic Master on your Lightblade Knight. I imagine if Philip were to be knocked out, he would find those items, and that would massively increase the power level of this comp. But I think he should consider going to level 10. Is probably where I would be sitting if I were Archdevil at this point in time.
He might be wanting to do so. He has 3 Sirens just ready to level up for when he does hit that level breakpoint. But going up against Steelo, it's a hard task. This player is very, very strong at this time.
Yeah, his Hell Knight is stuck in Hell Knight Prison, which is behind the God of War right there. And unfortunately, he didn't split his Lightblade Knight and his Hell Knight up, so they were both stuck
targeting
on the God
same
of War.
unit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, would you not make the argument that both of those units can take care of the God of War, quicker than anyone else?
God of War 3 is too tanky, dude.
Doesn't matter.
You've either got to find a way to turn God of War to the side because he takes more damage from the sides and he takes full damage from the back, or you've got to find a way to get one of them round him. Now, he had the Hell Knight tanking God of War, which is fine, but the Lightblade Knight was also stuck attacking God of War, so it made it a bit more difficult. So
we got the level 3 Shining Dragon there on the side of Steelo, just waiting for one more Chiropractor there. Why do I say chiropractor?
It kind of looks like chiropractor.
A doctor.
It kind of looks like it.
That's a point is a weird word. But up against Archdevil, who has been the player to beat until the past 10 rounds and is still kind of like try and find his footing. And Steelo's team comp is, look how many units he survived with that time around.
I'm actually really impressed with Philip. He's made a huge swing back in this game. And like we said, Dwarf Sniper is a really good unit, especially when he's as stacked as he is, as Phillips is, to deal with mages, because you just snipe past that God of War and you blow those mages up. This is where Pirate Captain comes in a bit more effectively than God of War, just because he can get some CC down and allow your Tortola Elder to set up for a big play. But I'm actually looking at Philip right now. Unless he gets a really bad set of Night Shield RNG coming out from an Archdevil matchup, I'm actually looking at Philip and thinking this guy's got what it takes to potentially take this game.
He's moving the Dwarf Sniper onto the opposite side, perhaps just trying to fake out any sort of positioning adjustments that the other players have made previously. The separation by the Archdevil once again doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Just the damage look at the damage charts. No one else is even coming close to the damage that the Dwarf Sniper is coming, and this is the strength of this unit if you can get it 3 stars. We've seen players fail to accomplish the full 3-star level up on this unit, and it's always heartbreaking you see them pull off of it, and this is why. Take
a look at the bench of Philip right now. He's got a Tsunami Stalker and an Abyssal Crawler, and on the field he's got an Abyssal Guard and a Siren.
He is, I'm assuming, waiting until Archdevil goes out.
To full marine it.
Exactly. For when he is 100% sure he is going up against mages every single round, the full 4 marine if he needs it.
Yeah, so you sell off Razor Claw and you sell off Dark Spirit very likely, and then you add your 2 marines in.
Yeah.
Or you sell off Werewolf, because Werewolf is kind of not that good at this stage in the game, but you maybe don't want to give up them at the Warrior bonus, you see. But irrespective of that, he's very intelligently realizing that Archdevil's probably not going to be a threat, so he's going to say, okay, like, I need to, if I'm playing for first place, this is the first place play, basically. He's making a first place play, and we know how important that is because you get the 2 extra points.
I just like the fact that he is at 11 HP and he is committing to the 50 gold right now. He has not rolled down because he is that confident with his current build, and he's been...
I'd go to level 10.
Can we see his win streak? I want to see how many... It's a 4 win streak that he's on right now. It's not a huge amount just yet, but he has been winning more than everyone else. Archdevil, on the other side of things, on a 5-loss streak. This guy was high-rolling throughout the mid-game. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. He is now level 10, so Philip would only need to replace 1 unit, and he's actually going to do it. He's going to get rid of he's going to get rid of the Werewolf, because again, Werewolf falls off really hard in the late game, and he's actually going to be rewarded by going directly up against Steelo with that Marine bonus.
He does lose the Warrior bonus, as he said, on the 2 Warriors that are remaining, but it's only on 2 players, 2 characters. He figured out that it's not exactly worth it. I don't know, though. A lot of damage coming in from the Dragon Knight. I think the 3-star Dwarf Sniper is enough to handle it, and yes, it is. Philip still staying alive. Philip also, Steelo won his own fight, and Archdevil lost again.
By a very small margin.
Streak.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a 2-star. Oh, that's big. That's a 2-star Dark Spirit right here. He's actually looking to go maybe for a 3-star Doom.
I mean, that would be big himself. oftentimes you don't see people go for a 3-star tier 4 or above unit just because it's only worthwhile if you can put it in and use it on the board, or else it's just a really hard investment. But that's a lot of items.
That's a stacked Doom, specifically Heart of Tarask.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Do you know, if I were Philip, I would actually just get rid of my Razor Claw and put another Doom on.
I might, yeah.
Or I'd just put the Werewolf back on.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because Razor Claw 2 isn't actually that good at this stage in the game.
No, that single bear unit can only do so much against this, but
what
what is happening? Archdevil, the damage suddenly coming online. A little bit of a delay for a second, but at this point, I don't think the Dwarf Sniper can be enough. And is the damage there, though? Onto Philip. Philip is still alive, but 5 HP. Archdevil, though, all three lost their own respective fights, and Archdevil and Philip are both down to single digits.
So what I will say about removing the warrior bonus is, whilst it doesn't really affect you versus Steelo, it will slightly affect you versus Archdevil, because obviously Glacier Knight is physical damage based. If you were removing the small armor bonus that 3 warriors gives you from the front line, they will go down slightly quicker than they did previously. This is why I would even maybe consider putting the werewolf back in over the Razor Claw, because it gives you your warrior bonus back and gives you a better matchup versus... I like that he's taken Razor Claw out entirely, by the way, for the Doom, but again, it does give you a slightly better matchup having the warrior bonus in versus the Glacier Knight player.
And going up against Steelo right now, it's arguably a harder player, still at 30 HP himself, performing very, very well. But it looks like Philip is going to win against this player. This is almost like a rock, paper, scissors situation going around.
It is. And I think, Archdevil's out.
Archdevil's down. Archdevil goes out in 3rd place. And now it's just Steelo versus Philip. Philip's going to be very, very happy about the 4 Marines that he slotted in.
Philip 100% can win this from this scenario because of that 4 Marine bonus, and I'm wondering, he's got Killerbot 3000.
Killerbot 3000.
Yeah, I think unfortunately for Steelo, you can't easily beat a 4 Marine hunter with a stacked 3-star Dwarf Sniper. It's just nigh on impossible.
Is there any counter available for Steelo, even if he has to roll down to it?
Venom? Venom! You could maybe put Venom in. You could maybe get rid of... I mean, the problem is, where would you put it? I think maybe you'd have to get rid of Dark Spirit. I don't think Dark Spirit is actually as good versus Hunters as you might think. I would maybe...
But you also lose your 6 mage if you do that.
No, Dark Spirit. Get rid of Dark Spirit.
Oh, Dark Spirit.
Dark Spirit, he's got a level 2 Dark Spirit, which is great. But actually, if you think... we've got a small pause. I think if you put in Venom... Dwarf Sniper has by far got the highest attack speed in that lobby. Venom, 4 times out of 5, will apply a pretty high damage poison to the highest attack speed target, slowing their attack speed and dealing significant magic damage. So there is a world where maybe you could sub out the Dark Spirit, which isn't particularly good versus the Hunter card, and then put in a Venom, and just hope that that's either buys you enough time because of the slowed attack speed on the Dwarf Sniper, or does enough damage that you can finish him off with something else. But I think it's like the only physical counter I can think of that would actually work in this scenario.
And it makes sense, but at 0 gold, and I don't think there was a single Venom on the sideboard, it's the time. There is a little bit of time. We saw the health bonus on the side of Steelo, so it's a little bit of resource to utilize to try and get that unit, but it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. I just, the turnaround that was employed is just massive in this.
It looks like Steelo just having an issue that's being looked at by the referees right now. Waiting to see exactly how it gets resolved. As soon as we have any more information, we will let you know. But right now it is, in fact, Philip versus Steelo for the 1st and 2nd place. Steelo, if he could find 1st place, would be very good for him. Philip also, I think, didn't have a particularly good game last game, so this is a big round for them. Philip got 7th last game.
7th last game, yeah. So, again, even if we are looking at just these very strong players in this lobby, it is still a very, very... It's going to make the leaderboard look very interesting going into round 3, no matter who wins this. But I don't know, my heart's on Philip right now. Just the Cinderella story of this player climbing up. I think he was in position to go out maybe in 6th place at this time, and he's able to claw himself back up to 2nd. And, you know, arguably the stronger team composition right now against Steelo.
Philip, sell off all your Razor Claws and just roll for that Doom 3. You know you want to.
Yeah, the Razor Claw, I mean, the Razor Claw could be there to slot back in once you find the Doom 3, but still,
Also, you could make use of getting maybe to 20 gold, and you'll get a bit more interest gold to work with. I don't know how or where Razor Claw 3 would fit in your comp. Maybe you'd get rid of it for Doom, but anyway. Iron Beast is doing some serious work. The Dark Spirit 2 might carry. I think it will. I think the Dark Spirit 2 is going to carry.
Winter Chiropactin, come on. Get those auto attacks in.
Oh my word.
With the heal, it might be enough. And no, the God of War, there's not going to be enough time. He's actually going to lose. He's actually going to lose to the Iron Beast.
Wow.
It's 4 damage in that. Base virtually evens the playing field. It's 6 HP versus 5 HP because of that loss, and also no item pickup. It only, of course, would have been a component, but it still would have been a pretty big component and may have given Steelo another way back into this game.
He's got it.
He's got it.
He's got it.
You got the slaps, and you got the Razor Claw back in as well.
That's it for I think for Steelo.
Yeah.
I don't think Steelo can compete with a Heart of Tarask, Barbaric Cuirass, Jade Pipe.
Yeah, I bet we don't even need the Dwarven Sniper anymore. Just go home. Like, you can retire at this point. It's all on the level 3 Doom Arbiter. Look at those punches. Unfortunately, it's on the God of War, but still, that God of War is not going to last too much longer. Just look at the damage coming out from Philip on both boards. It's absolutely massive right now. And that's it. That's it. That's game. That is round number 2. Philip, first place. If you asked me what position Philip would have gotten 15 rounds ago, I would not have said first. And the relief.
Yeah, just looking at him there in his chair, kind of sitting back, closing his eyes. Certainly a little thankful that panned out that way.
Yeah.
Very impressive. What a fighter.
Pretty happy that he's in that scenario. And he'll be walking away with a Hunter win, which is nice because we haven't seen too many Hunter wins, but we've seen Hunters do well in general, but a 3-star Dwarf Sniper is always going to be one of those big carries.
It's got to be one of the most dramatic moments so far here, especially how close it was at the end, and then Philip just being able to hold on as long as he did to find success.
Yeah, I think he was looking for the 3-star Dwarf Sniper, and he found it.
Yeah.
And that was what Monty was looking for in his game when he found the 3-star Doom. But, you know, it's such a big, powerful upgrade for Hunters in general.
Yeah.
It is basically what you need to carry the late game in the most circumstances, and you need to have it stacked with as many items as you do.
Yeah.
So what does Steelo do differently there to kind of, help himself out? Because he clearly had a nice advantage, not only the entire game, but obviously in the final moment.
It's one of the limitations of Dragon Mages is that, unfortunately, you, at some point, are just going to lose to if someone techs in 4 Marines. There's not much you can do about it, right? Like I said to Cammy in the cast, one scenario that might have worked was somehow fitting a Venom in there, because Venom applies a magic single target attack speed debuff, which also deals a significant amount of magic damage to a single target, and it usually 80% of the time targets the unit with the highest attack speed. That was the only way I think that he maybe had a chance there, but it's such a slim margin that I don't even think it would have made a difference.
It's also just the nature of these sort of free-for-all games where you're not fighting against one person. You're not trying to beat just one person. You're trying to get as good of a position as you can, and there's going to be a situation that the best you can do is second place. Is a little bit of a rock, paper, scissors scenario.
And looking at the match result here, I just love how, look at the top 3 win-loss record. It's like they're all within like a game. It's just really cool to see the parity amongst the top dogs there. Lucky, unfortunately, I was rooting her on, but she finished in 8th, which isn't going to be too helpful for her ambitions for advancing to the next round. Of course, she got 4th in the first match, so it could be worse for her.
I guess we could have a look at the leaderboard soon and see exactly what it is.
I've got unofficially written all of it down here, but I don't want to spoil anything. So, here we go. Here are the results through 2 games. Again, it's a best of 3 here. So through 2 matches, Psycho at the top, the player from Germany. The European region has not advanced yet. Sorry, Scoundrel. But Psycho might be your hero here.
I think it'd be very hard for Psycho not to qualify now.
Yeah,
it would be very hard for Psycho. In fact, I think it might even be mathematically impossible for Psycho not to qualify. In fact, the way that this lobby is set up is that I think Lucky, Vincent, and Durf, unfortunately, are in a situation where they're very unlikely to qualify.
It's basically just +9 if they win, right?
Well, but here's the thing.
So they could.
So you'd need Archdevil, Philip, Steelo, all of them to come bottom 3 in, and you'd need the Archdevil with 12 points to come last specifically as well for any of those guys to qualify, I think.
for even no, if you there's a scenario where one of the those qualify, and it's just one or two of those 10-point players going out very early, and then like in this case, like could be Lucky or Durf getting first or second. There's definitely a scenario. It's not as said and done as we've seen in previous groups, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's not as concrete, but it's another one of those scenarios where you no longer have the destiny in your own hands.
Yeah.
So for Lucky, Durf, and Vincent, destiny is no longer in their own hands. They're probably going to find it more difficult to sort of play this game, knowing that they actually rely on other people doing badly.
Yeah, as well as them doing well.
As well as them doing well. They would need to get first, and the other people would need to get last in a specific, or at least get 1-2 points, in a specific order, right?
Yeah. So. At the end of the day, you can't invest too much into that as a player. It's kind of, you just got to roll with it. Whatever you're dealt in the beginning, and then hope you have a good game. But we have one more match here in this group. Again, we're trying to find out who's going to be the top 4 to advance to tomorrow's semifinals. But we're going to head to a short break here, and we'll be back with that match. We actually had the chance to talk to Vincent, who unfortunately is not in the best spot right now. But let's